Hello everyone, welcome to my stop today for Stretch or Sketch. It's been a little while since I've gotten to play along with this series, so I'm super excited to be able to join. Here's the sketch we're working with today, and then I also put it at the beginning of the video. I'm going to be using Heidi Swapp products today. So I'm using a little bit of Honey and Spice. I'm mixing it with some Emerson Lane, and then I think there's a little bit of Pink Paisleys again and again that found its way to this layout as well. So I'm going to start with these two papers from Honey and Spice. That's right, I'm just chopping into them. They've been in my stash for a while, and I haven't gotten to play with them too much, and I just decided, you know what, we're doing it. We're hacking into them. Same with the Emerson Lane. I have a 6x6 paper pad from that collection, and I've done nothing with it. So I'm going to cut my papers down because I'm going to create an 8.5 by 11 layout. Then I decide that I want more of a border, so I'm going to cut that one paper down again. Yeah, I know, the other side's beautiful. I know. Don't leave me mean messages. I'm really into using my stuff, and the gray side matched my photos better. Okay. All the new products are coming in. I was getting worried that my stash was going to overrun me, so it's time to start using. So these are my photos. They are two photos of my adorable nephew. So the sketch includes these cool chevrons, and I really wanted to try to just make them. So I had this idea. I'm cutting 1-inch strips from the Emerson Lane 6x6 paper pad, and I pulled a bunch of different patterns out because I decided that I could make each chevron its own pattern. I'm going to do a lot of inking today with Distress Oxide Vintage Photo just because it looks really nice with this collection. So I'm folding this 1-inch strip. So this strip measures 1 inch wide by 6 inches tall. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut almost like I want to do a ribbon type of a border and then put them together. And check out my chevrons. And then because and because they're the same pattern and because of the way I cut them, they kind of match up really well. So they're very kind of seamless and cool, and how awesome are those? So I'm going to keep going here. I end up making, I think, 4. So the chevrons that I'm using aren't exactly like the ones on the sketch, but who cares? We're altering the sketch and making it going from 12 by 12 to 8.5 by 11, so it's all good. I end up making 4, and then I also cut this really beautiful wood grain paper as a base to hold my photos and the rest of my layout. But those chevrons turned out so good. I was so proud of myself, I gotta say. Sometimes you do things in scrapbooking and you're like, hey, that totally worked and it looks awesome. This was one of those moments. Okay, so the sketch calls for some layers behind the photos and then like a larger square block, and so I'm just kind of mimicking that. I think I followed the sketch. I mean, I cut it down from 12 by 12 to 8.5 by 11, but the main elements that are in the sketch are in my layout. I'm going to kind of overlap my photos, get the placement down right, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink all this up. I'm okay. I promise I don't have coronavirus. And you can't catch it over YouTube anyway. I just have a tickle in my throat. Maybe a coffee will help. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer these up and put my photos down. And what I'm going to do is, because the spacing on this layout has to be like just so, right? So we have a lot of, I have to be really accurate with how I place these down or it's not going to look right. I'm kind of using my photos as a guide so that I don't just like stick and plunk and end up with things that are off, and my fuzzy head's in the way. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the photos. So I'm doing it this way because I want those strips, I want my background to be not super visible, but somewhat visible. And I want to make sure that I'm not covering it all up. And then I decided to need more of the yellow because I did end up actually covering up all of the yellow. And I want it to kind of come out the other side. So that's okay. We're just going to kind of piece it together and make it work. And in the end, it turns out really nice. So I went with a really soft color palette for this layout. But not baby-centric, so to speak. That's kind of my jam. I'm not big on super themed products, but I love beautiful patterns that I can pull color palettes from. Not that I don't ever work with themed patterns or collections, but when I do, I think I work with them differently than most people. Let's put it that way. Okay, so for my title, I just want to put my nephew's name on the title, and I'm going to do that by cutting apart this 6x6 paper pad, which was 6x6 pattern paper, which is part of that Emerson Lane paper pad, and I counted out beforehand, so I knew I had exactly what I needed for his name. And then what I did was I cut the letters apart, inked each letter with the vintage photo, and then I went ahead and I popped up every other letter to give the title some dimension and some interest. So that turned out really cool. I love that. Now what I'm doing is part of the sketch calls for a little cluster up in the top left, and I thought that would work really well because then I could kind of use that cluster in the top left, the area around the title, and then another small cluster down at the bottom, which I don't think that third cluster that I add is in the sketch, but at this point I had pretty much put the sketch away and I was just going free range creating the way that I wanted to create. I knew I wanted to use that little bulldog because he's so cute. And most of these die cuts are from Honey and Spice. I don't think I ended up pulling any in from Again and Again. Maybe this pink piece here, I'm not sure. Anyway, as it turned out, most of my die cuts and things that I had pulled were too large for an 8.5 by 11 layout. So I ended up kind of having to go back in and look at stickers and things to get some that were more sized better for my layout and the space that I had. But that dog, he's going on. For sure. So I love the idea of using these cute little cameras. I'm going to use those two. Everything else was just too big. And then I'm going to go into the sticker sheet and see what I can find. See, like, I was like, oh, this would be really cute, except it's ginormous on my page, so that's not going to work. But then I remembered that the Honey and Spice sticker sheet, which I did pull out and I have over there, has some labels and things that are of a more reasonable size for my layout. So I went ahead and I'm going to grab that and use those. The adorable bulldog gets popped up. Of course he does. I mean, it's an adorable bulldog. These are Doris foam strips, in case you're curious. I love them. So I think there's a couple places you can get them. I get them from Christina at Redefined Creative. I generally send her a message and say I'm almost out of foam strips, and she adds them to my next kit because that's where I get. I've been less shopping. I know, right? If you know me, you know. That's craziness, but it's true. I've been sticking to just a couple of places and not really shopping. I haven't been hitting sales. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, here is the sticker sheet from Honey and Spice. See what I said about that, those sizes. So that sticker sheet, the one side has icons, but then the other side just has this awesome section of labels. Perfect for little blocks to build on top of. Love, love, love that. And you can write on them if you want to, because it's not shiny material. It's not like sticker glossy. It's like you can write on it material. And so I'm just going to go ahead here. I'm going to pop up the camera. I think I pop up the other camera too. Yeah. Using those foam strips. And then I'm going to start to build these clusters. So you can kind of see where I've started the clusters, right? We have the little adorable dog up there where I put that label. And see how the camera, if the label looked odd, the camera suddenly makes the label not look odd, right? It works. I'm going to add this cute little sticker that says, I adore you and I adore Gabby. Oh, he's such a little monkey. Look at those cheeks. And he's never grouchy. I'm telling you what, that kid is never a grump. Well, he probably is for his mom, but he's not for me. And so I'm going to put those, and see how you don't see a lot of it, but you know it's there. You know it's grounding the cluster. It's working. And then since I have that adore you with a little bit of metallic on it, I'm going to go ahead and add another little bit of metallic with that little circle. And then on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and put this camera, and I'm going to put, I think I used another label to do my date, because I'm dating my layouts. I put away a whole stack of layouts the other day, and I was like, you know what, I have really got to remember to date, because some were dated, some layouts I did good, and I dated them, some of them I didn't, and I don't scrapbook chronologically, but I put them chronologically into my albums, and that gets annoying when I haven't date stamped. I mean, even if I date stamp on the back, right, just put a date on your layout somewhere. I wish that I could, like, have a little, like have, no, not Siri, I hate Siri. Have Alexa, no, I don't have an Alexa, I don't know. Someone has to remind me. Anyway, that's going to complete this layout. Thank you so much for joining us on our Stretch the Sketch YouTube hop. We are coming up on 2 years of doing this hop. Can you even believe that? And I think part of the reason is because we have the ability to kind of skip it and come back to it. So thank you so much. You can check out below to see who's after me, and I'll see you all again soon.